Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Tell me a bit about you with Rats. I know you are living in Los Angeles, but tell me a bit about you.
Yeah, so I was born in Borneo Island, an island that is shared between Malaysia and Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Originally, I moved to LA 10 years ago. I think last month it would be 10 years for music. Basically, I got a scholarship to study music. I've been taking pictures since I was a little kid because my dad is a pilot. He always have his like Nikon FM3, like Canon AE1, like all those old school film cameras. So I always love taking pictures. Coming to LA, I always wanted to do music, and then after doing music for a few years, I got into the creative world of throwing events, production events, and start taking photos seriously. And no, I started taking party photography. That's how I started professionally as a party photographer, because my company, we don't have extra budget to hire expensive party photographers, and I started out as a party photographer. I decided to go buy a little Sony point and shoot camera and just shoot our first party like 3 years ago. And from there, every single party I shot, I keep on improving, and people has been loving the photos, and people start asking me, hey, I want to hire you to shoot my portrait. I want to hire you to shoot my brand. I want to hire you to shoot my event, to shoot my artist portrait, anything, you know. And from there, it's just growing. And basically, what put everything much further and much more forward is the pandemic, because the first few months of the pandemic, we couldn't do any events. Obviously nobody works. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Especially as a creative, nobody shoots. I didn't do any shooting until there's a huge protest in LA, the George Floyd protest in LA. And I got called from my friends saying, hey, do you want to photograph the protest? I will submit your photos to LA Times and local magazines and stuff, right? And it's been like 3-4 months. I haven't done anything, haven't shoot, very uninspired. Went to the protest and start shooting. And literally from there, it just kickstart again my professional photography career. And from there till this day, it's been like close to 10 months now, nonstop. Like I shot the protest. That kind of revived my photography career a little bit more. People start saying like, oh, Raz, Dancefloormurder, he's still around, he does photos. And non-stop, people just been asking me, hey, I have this music video shoot. You want to do some BTS? Let's do some street portraits. Let's do some branded shoots. So basically that's how it is. Pretty much like music really made me become a photographer.
Yeah.
I do music full time too, but I used to do like session work. Like I will play guitar and songwriting for other artists and all that, but I rarely do that now because I teach full time and I do photography full time. I think photography defined me to be a better musician, because I stopped becoming like a musician whore, you know what I mean? Like start playing with everyone and do whatever. I just define myself as I'm an educator and I want to do my own music. Even if it doesn't make any money, I just want to do my own music because I am a music teacher. So photography forced me to just define myself as a musician, and music made me actually fall in love with photography, because currently right now, half of my income is through photography. I'm freelance. I'm not signed to any agent, anything yet. We'll see, maybe one day, but as per now, I am just freelance solo, and half of my income is through photography. Words of mouth, people there's a lot more things that I do outside of my Instagram for sure, like real estate, like even corporate headshots, like a lot other like different boring stuff. But in a way that photography also made me have more time to be more specific with my music.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird balance, and I didn't realize my love for photography until I decided that I just lost inspiration with music, because being in LA and meeting so many crazy people, good, not good, it just made me realize that, wow, I am getting detached from my artistic soul. And photography made me realign everything again. So
I would love to ask you some impression you had during you was taking that picture in the BLM protest.
sure,
And
yeah.
um, how was your feeling taking that pictures, and what was one of the scene like this one is so cool, this is so personal, and say a lot of stuff, and I wanted to know more about what you think about that picture, why is here instead of this protest.
Um, so that is an incredible question, dude. Wow. So you are asking me why did I decide to take that picture, and why did I decide to put that picture, upload that picture alongside the protest photo, right?
Yeah, it's in the stories, so then that's, I think, if we go to watch that pictures, yeah, our picture really interesting during the scene, because you're talking about the stories, and but we know everyone actually can do it, that kind of picture,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Also like the special protest shot, I feel.
as something really powerful instead of all of this chaos. And yeah, I asked to myself, how was your feeling when you was taking that picture, if you remember,
Yeah.
what something take took out you from the moment, probably.
Well, I first of all, I come from a background of shooting party photography, but if you realize, my party photography is also, sometimes I love taking pictures of people just holding a drink, like people's shoes, people's just ring, like very personal, instead of just like, oh, crazy party pictures. I do a lot of that, but I mix them up too. So in a way that I do remember exactly at this moment of taking this picture, this is the third protest that I went to, basically like the third day, and it was one of the most intense day, because Los Angeles suddenly have a curfew at 9 p.m. or like 8 p.m. If you are out after 8 p.m., you're going to jail. Like, it was very intense. And I do remember all day, me and another good friend, we went to the protest in downtown. We took a bunch of crazy pictures. It was very intense because for the first time, I experienced racism in America. Not like experience it on me, but I understand what are my African American friends are going through, right? So that was very intense. And I do remember particularly this photo, it was just me, just so tired. It was just like walking around and trying to like shift my eyes to something else. And I do remember exactly seeing, if I'm not mistaken, a guy drop that shoe. Like, he wasn't like purpose, it wasn't like on accident. Like, he was carrying it. And he was wearing a different shoe, but he was carrying that shoe, but he just threw it aside and he walked away. And he was alone. And he was wearing a totally different shoe. He was wearing like a Nike sneaker to like like a running shoe, you know. So I just literally I just went there and see, oh, what did he throw away? Is this a shoe? And something about why I took that photo wasn't because at first I wasn't thinking, oh wow, it must be very personal or what the fuck ever he threw the shoe. I didn't take photos because of that. It was literally the shadows that made me take the picture, and also the little hint of this blue, this green or blue, whatever, what color you call this. The whole contradicting, like there's shadows, there's this leather shoe which still looks very nice, and this little hint of blue. That is why I took the picture. But I do remember after a few days editing this picture, uploading it, I decided to upload it because to me it has a sense of like letting go, like in a way that, look at that shoe, dude. Somebody has worn that shoe for a while. It has been to places that has a lot of memories to that person. It has been to places that may have hurt somebody emotionally or even physically. We don't know where has that shoe been to. Like it's intense just thinking about somebody, a stranger, has worn that shoe, has done something beautiful or something really bad, and decided to just laugh a part of him on the street. And the whole reason, that is pretty much the whole reason I uploaded that photo, because in conjunction to the protest, I do feel like what we are fighting for, what people are like sort of fighting for, at some point people kind of let go of certain things, you know, like another picture, the black guy was just sleeping beside the military guy. This is what I felt too when I was uploading the picture of the shoe. It's like a sense of letting go. It was very intense. And check out that guy. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, I'm just gonna like take a nap right now. You know what I mean? Like, that is such a crazy picture. Like, beside him, there's a dude with a rifle ready to like shoot somebody if things exploded. And he just doesn't give a fuck. He just decided like, I'm gonna take a nap right here, while thousands of people are protesting. It's the sense of letting go in a way that, yes, there's so many crazy shit's been happening and stuff, and this guy just decided like, well, I'm just gonna let go of everything and just take a nap. Which is
To go in another part of your work, I've seen you published a book about this series of picture. Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
Can you tell me why you decided to take more time and to publish a book about that world situation and where it come from, and that shooting? Tell me a bit more about.
Sure, yeah. So this is one of my good friends, Boo Boo Stewart. He is a very well-known actor in LA. I think he started out, like, he became famous through Disney or something like that, and he got into that famous teenager movie Twilight, if you remember.
Yeah, Twilight. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the star in Twilight, and now he's like pretty much like, I think me and him, we are going through a lot of creative development. Mm-hmm. He has done a lot of like, Disney acting stuff. I don't do that, but I used to come from a background of like, really doing, from my old band, I love like metal. I love like punk and metal, hardcore stuff. And we've gone through a lot of like creative development together. I remember this one day, he invited me to his studio, like, hey, do you want to come over to my studio? Let's get lunch. This is in the middle of pandemic, like I think maybe like June last year. He was like, fuck, I am so fucking bored. I am gonna paint today. Come to the studio. I went to the studio, we drank some whiskey and take some pictures. That is in the studio. Just hanging out, like literally half an hour hanging out, take the pictures. And then this is the first time we've known each other for like years, but this is the first time I take his pictures in the studio. We went to lunch and then we had this idea like, hey, let's, you know what, let's do something creative together. Let's release something to the public.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what do you mean? And he says, well, I've always wanted to release something to the public, to my fans, that they can hold. It's like an object. So we did thought about, oh, maybe let's make a print. Let's make a little funny badge of his face or whatever.
Yeah.
So a week later, he asked me, hey, what are you doing at night? And I'm like, nothing. Well, I'm gonna pick you up, bring your camera. Don't bring any extra lens, just very street photography party style. We're gonna go for a walk. So we decided like, hell yes. Went for a walk in East LA, close to downtown area. And we tried to like shoot a bunch, like, oh, let's just shoot on the street. Let's try to do this, try to do that. We shot for like an hour. We loved the pictures. And then towards the end, I live close to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And basically the McDonald's behind my place, there's a huge parking lot, and then there's this green, huge green patch that right there. That's it. This is the McDonald's parking lot.
Yeah.
And then he just started, we did a bunch of outfits, and then he was like, I'm just gonna wear my white shirt right now. And he put on his white shirt and I shot him. And then Boo Boo is a very creative, he does a lot of movement. Like, he's a taekwondo artist, he does a lot of mixed martial arts and stuff. He decided to like just dance and like move around and go be himself, and that's my skill. I love shooting movements. Like, I love shooting like studio portraits, people sit down and like do different poses, but I come from that hardcore punk show scene. Like, I love intense movements. And he just moved around with his white shirt. I take the pictures and he just couldn't stop. He was like, I feel like I'm in theater. I think he has like a theater background. He was like, I just couldn't stop. And it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, fuck, like we could get robbed right now. It's East LA, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, let's keep going for another half an hour. He just kept going. We shot over there in that little stupid parking lot for like maybe like close to 2 hours. We just like hanging out there. And went back home. I edited the pictures and sent it to him. We start talking and he was like, hey, I have an idea. What do you think if we'd release a photo book? And I was like, yeah, photo book's great. What if we make a mini photo book?
Yeah.
It's very little. It's like double the size of a hard drive, like this maybe. Mini photo book. And
I think it's 6x6. No? 6x6.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And then we decided that let's just try to release the book, and we make some limited edition to showcase his art too. So I think maybe 15 of the books, no, we released the books and it was sold out within like 24 hours.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was fucking beautiful. And the book sold out, and also the limited edition sold out too, which is like, we sold 15 limited edition where he will paint in the book.
Yeah.
Make like some funny art or something every single page for 15 copies, and he did that. Yeah, so that was a very, very great, that was one of my favorite projects ever, because I think that was one of those like true creativity projects, in a way that it was so random. We shot something really cool and memorable in a McDonald's parking lot, not like a typical studio with crazy lighting or whatever. And I think I was very satisfied and very proud of that project, just because of the whole rawness and the whole idea of, wow, I want to make art with no crazy production or budget or crew involved. It's just two guys that just understand each other and just wants to have fun on the street. And it also really reflects our personality, because Boo Boo and me, we love the street.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I love, just every day, I just love walking on the street just to clear my mind. Like, sometimes it's annoying, you see LA has a lot of crazy homeless people, what the fuck ever, but it's kind of like ingrained in me that, wow, I just love the street so much. There's a lot going on that we don't know, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that's going through shit that we don't know. It's just nice to like take a break from your bedroom and my studio and just go and see that. And Boo Boo is the same thing too. He is a very street guy kind of background, so that sort of like really reflects our personality, and I'm very proud of that work. So
I wanted to ask you if actually are you planning or working on something specifically, if you are following some dreams or some new ideas.
That is actually a great question. For now, there are two things that I want to grow within my photography career, right? One thing, most importantly, is Dancefloormurder. I want to grow my photography career, Dancefloormurder, as much as possible, and I want it to be an experience for people, because I don't really call myself a photographer. Yes, I am a professional photographer, but all of my clients, everyone that shoot with me, how you manage to feel so connected to the photos is because I always tell them like, hey, I am just your friend that happens to have a camera. So every time I go do shooting with everyone, I'm always, hey dude, no fucking pressure. Let's hang. Like, tell me about yourself. Let's talk, relationship, life, or whatever. Oh shit, so happened I have a camera. Even if it's like a professional portrait shoot, all my clients love the fact that I don't have that very intimidating kind of like, oh, show me your best poses kind of thing. Like, no, even if you don't know how to pose, I will know how to make you look fucking cool.
Yeah, totally. I see you, but
yeah, it's because I love partying. I love being friends with people. And that's why even if it's a professional shoot, I'm your friend and I have a camera. What's up? Let's try to take some pictures.
yeah.
I've always been a dream of mine to grow Dancefloormurder as much as possible. It's like a little different output than a normal photographer. I want this to be an experience for people. And of course, like when people hire me to shoot, sometimes we do studio, but every time I do studio shoot, the clients are always like, hey, you do amazing street portraits. You want to do some street portraits? I'm like, yes. You want to go on the street right now, like for half an hour? Let's go. And then like we'll go, and then if we see a bar, I'm always like, you want to grab like just one drink and chill, like grab one drink in between like the looks or whatever. So it's almost like this very casual sense of photography that I want to embrace. It's almost like that point and shoot feel and professional.
Yeah.
I really wanted to grow this into a brand as well, which I haven't really told anyone. You're probably like the very first person, but at some point, I do have a dream of like want to make Dancefloormurder. I want to detach myself from Dancefloormurder, so Dancefloormurder will be a lifestyle brand. Like you're just totally embracing yourself kind of brand. Obviously there's me doing photography behind it, but yeah, even the name Dancefloormurder comes from me shooting parties on the dance floor, and people are always like, holy shit, dude, your photos are fucking killer on the dance floor.
Yes, the work is so nice.
Thank you. I really appreciate coming from a professional photographer like you. To be very dead honest, Emilio, there sometimes I feel intimidated because it sounds like I know what I'm doing, but most of the time I kind of don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But sorry, so that is one thing, and another dream of mine, obviously with Dancefloormurder in the very near future. I thought about this before we got into Zoom. For a while, I've always wanted to tour with artists. With my style of photography, I think I'm great being like Post Malone's photographer for his tour or something. Like that's my a solid big dream. Hopefully, I don't know how I'll find my way, get connected to people, whatever. Yeah, that is like the short term goal. When everything opens back up, I want to go on tour with. Obviously, it has to be paid and stuff, blah blah. We all know that everyone's gonna eat, but yeah, I want to document an artist's life. I'm ready to like take it to the next level and just do that for a while, for a few months at least, and then come back to like doing portraits and stuff. So I've always had this like um I've always had this intense love for let me show you something real quick. So this book changed my life in photography, which is The True Norwegian Black Metal. It's a book by Peter Beste, which is like this famous photographer. And I don't know if you can see, but what I want to do with artists, like when I'm touring with like, let's say with Post Malone, right? Or any pop artist, I want to take really just pictures that people's never seen before. Let's say like if Post Malone is done with the show that night, he goes to his bus and he takes off his shoe and just throw the shoe somewhere. I want to take pictures of that shoe. Like you know what I mean? Like that shoe picture in the protest kind of thing. Just like it's like that very bizarre kind of thing. Like, oh wow, that's fucking Post Malone's fucking shoe. He just threw it away after play like a sold out venue in New York. And I learned a lot from this photo book, which is kind of crazy because this guy documents just crazy shit like this.
Yeah.
You know, like this kind of stuff, like just fans of black metal doing shit. Like, so pretty much like I want to apply that feeling to being on tour with an artist.
Yeah, I hope you do it, man, because I feel the energy. So then, yeah, I will love to release that book after you did it.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
So, can I ask you? This is the last question. If you, I have to say, you are a teacher. You said you are a teacher in music, no?
Yeah.
So if you will be a teacher in photography, what is the advice you will give to someone is starting now photography?
All right. My advice is use the. There's a few advice. Sorry if I'm like mixing things around here and there. If you're starting photography, my first advice is never buy brand new stuff. There's a lot of like cheap used stuff, but even before buying any cheap used stuff, iPhone is an incredible fucking tool to take pictures. Like if you can take good pictures with iPhone, you can pretty much take good pictures with anything, really. And my other advice, if you really want to, if a new photographer is interested in taking pictures of other people, realize that energies are a real thing. Whoever you take pictures of feeds off your energy. Like if you're an awkward person, whoever you're taking pictures of will be slightly awkward, will be a bit like not 100% themselves.
Yeah.
So in a way that is weird to say this, but almost all of my favorite photographers have incredible personalities. And I'm not saying that, oh, to be a photographer, you must have great personality, but it kind of like feeds off your art, because your personality determines what you're gonna see, right?
Totally.
So my advice has always been, if you want to start photography, always find your niche. Are you interested in landscape? Like people that are more like timid, not into like shooting other people, they shoot amazing landscape. Like also see what's connected to you. I'm friends with a bunch of landscape photographers that do work for Nat Geo, Subaru, the car company Subaru always hires photographer, give them a car and just go all over national park in America and take pictures. And those people are also athletes. They can hike for like 10 hours a day and they shoot amazing landscape. And they are fucking happy, because before I knew that they were doing photography work, they were just hiking all the time, fitness instructor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my advice is always like, if you want to start photography, is always try to find what other things in life that you like that could be included into the photography.
That's
And I think
this is a really an amazing advice.
Yeah, because I'm not a fitness hiking kind of guy. Ever since I was a kid, I love punk rock shows. And then from punk rock shows, I'm 20 years old, I go to parties, I meet girls, blah, blah. And then I love fashion. Everything links together.
Yeah.
My friend Aiden, he is an incredible landscape photographer. He doesn't do anything that I do. But ever since he was a kid, he's a traveler. He traveled to South America when he was like 14 alone. And now he's an incredible landscape photographer. He travels everywhere in his van and take pictures. So in a way that other things in life that you like and passionate about will be your path of photography. So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you a lot for that.
Yeah, of course.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.